What is up, Facebook Live? I
What's
am
going
here.
on, y'all?
What's going on? What's going on? This is pretty wild. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. For those who don't know, who are watching live, or if you're watching this later, Jim Archidiacono here. I am a real estate agent in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland area outside of Philly. Part of KW Sports and Entertainment, a real estate premier real estate team that we cover sports and entertainment clientele all over the country. And what I wanted to do with this is I've met some amazing people in these groups, and you know I just wanted to bring some of these people on and introduce you to them. And we've had some fun in the past. So I'm gonna bring on Paul Scott. He is Next Move down in Nashville, Tennessee. Paul and I met actually in Nashville for a Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment event. I remember seeing him. He was on stage, and I'm like, this dude is super cool. I got to get to know him. And then we got to know each other, and we've had some fun. And turns out he's went to school here locally. So, Paul, introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I think the reason that I got to am I your first guest?
Is this
the maiden voyage that we're taking here for the podcast that you've got going on here?
Absolutely.
So you're going to tell us when people like are paying attention or making comments and all that stuff along the way. Feel free to interrupt me at any point if anybody's tuning in and having fun with this. I think the reason that I was invited to be the first guest, some people would want to know, well, why did Jim bring Paul on as a first guest for starting this thing off, And I think the real reason has nothing to do with Philadelphia or me going to school there, which I'll talk about in a second. It's really because I think I'm the first person that met you that said, "Hey, what's up, Archidiacono? I actually said your name correctly." And I think that's why you is
it
that right?
Might be. It might be. It also might be because of our relationship with our sports teams too.
That's true. That's true. There might be some other good reasons, but you were saying it, and it was like there are so many people that they call you Jim A, and you were Jim A for a long time in my phone until I actually, was able to confirm that I was saying it correctly.
Absolutely.
But the A stands for good things. It's for your last name. It's not, anything else. So, but yeah, man, appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a blast today. Just talking everything from sports and entertainment and real estate, whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about, man. It was funny. I went to music school first in Temple University in Philadelphia, and met a great friend there who actually ended up becoming a real estate agent pretty much right out of college, and kept in touch with her, from now and then. She kept telling me about real estate. And so when I eventually moved to Nashville to pursue the music dream, that sort of thing, she kind of helped me realize that one of the ways to support the music habit, because if you're not aware, most artists and musicians we have earned that name, starving artist, not because we're starving just for attention, but probably starving, probably not sure where the next paycheck's going to come from, and that sort of thing. The group that I have toured with and continue to tour with on mostly throughout the year on weekends and that sort of thing is these guys up here, Low Cash. And their story is a story that's similar to many here in Nashville, that they tell the story of how they were eating tuna fish and mustard packets out of living out of a Jeep Cherokee, and now they're getting gold records for #1 songs and stuff. So you can really ride that low starving artist thing and see it on through if you surround yourself with the right people, the right situations, and get those things going. And so I kind of learned that when I first moved to Nashville, to try and surround myself with good people in the music industry, and got into that. But then also surrounding myself with good people in real estate around here and supporting that habit. And so I got into real estate, kind of on the flip side, no pun intended, but by flipping homes basically, and changing houses every year and a half to 2 years, and that sort of thing. And found out very quickly that in order to get that to work to your advantage, I used real estate as almost like an extra employee, and used that equity every couple of years to help support what I was doing musically as well. Fast forward, that just turned into a passion. I just ended up loving real estate, loving helping other musicians, other people, achieve their first home dreams and that sort of stuff. So real estate really became just a passion by default, but that one that I didn't want to give up, and has continued to be a big blessing for my life, and given me the opportunity to serve others. And so eventually got licensed. Started with a very, very good team here in Nashville. And then, as things would have it, Keller Williams started this division where I met you. And it's funny, when you're on a camera, I just gestured to you as if you were right here, like I'm pointing right where you're at. And it's like, but yeah, you right there. Met you through the sports and entertainment division. And it was really when Keller Williams, I was already with KW well before that, but when I guess it's 2.5, 3, whatever it was, years ago, when they started this community or division, I was like, wow, I don't know what this is, but I got to find out about, more about this, because this is my bread and butter. We'll talk more about this too, but one of my first jobs out of high school was working for the Washington Redskins, and on their entertainment staff. So I've been around sports and entertainment pretty much my entire life. So the way to just tie in sports and entertainment into my other passions that I have in those industries, and then tie them into my main industry, which is real estate now, was just really a home run for me, and knew that I had kind of found my tribe. That's a real catchphrase out there, find your tribe, right? But this was really a true statement for me by getting into that, and then becoming part of the Next Move team as well. So that's my nutshell right there, man.
You brought up a really good point. Like, so for me with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment, totally opposite. Obviously you're a touring musician, you tour with Low Cash and all that. So you actually are in an entertainment, and me, I had nothing to do with sports, nothing to do with entertainment, other than I enjoy watching and I enjoy music. For a lot of people who know me, I love going to concerts, been to lots of them. That all kind of started with my parents taking me to my first Grateful Dead show when I was, I think I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade. So like growing up,
John Mayer joined them, right? Not the original.
John Mayer. Yeah, he took over for Jerry. They actually just signed. They're doing 24 nights in Vegas at the Sphere.
Fantastic.
Out there. It's crazy. But so I remember, I clearly remember when that email came through for KW Sports and Entertainment, it said, to join. I'm like, I have no idea why, if I would even get into the division, yet alone be accepted or whatnot. So I was like, you know what? I love sports. I love entertainment. I got to figure this out. Jumped in, and really KW Sports and Entertainment, or KWSE as we call it, has really changed, my career, changed my life, changed a lot of people. And it is truly a family. Like my wife has been out to some of our events. And it just really has, sparked this whole thing. And then obviously Next Move came out of that, where, we have, I think they said yesterday, we have 43 teams all over the country. We're on our way to 50. We're going to, take over as one of the top expansion teams in the company. That's the way we're going. That's how it's on a roll. And then to join the group, and then meet people like you who, who just have really, been in the business is just unbelievable. Like just how we all connected and everyone is, one big kind of happy family, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with communication and crossover, right? So,
Yep.
for me, a lot of the skills that I had learned. I know a lot of people think that musicians don't have to have other skills outside of just playing chunks of wood
Yeah.
with strings on it, but playing a show that is maybe 75, 90 minutes of a night is the easiest and most fun part of the day. There's a lot that goes into it that you learn skills from because I've worked multiple sides too in entertainment where I've tour managed and those sorts of things where you're dealing with contracts, negotiations, enforcing contracts, all of those sorts of things too, and making sure that all parties are happy. You might have a venue over here, you might have an artist over here, and a booking agent over here, and you got to get them all to be able to communicate and get the common goal done and make that show happen. I know you've come, I would say most people that I've met in real estate didn't start in real estate. They usually come from another background and are able to transfer those skills. And a lot of that success has to do with, hey, we can get your contracts, done. We can do X, Y, and Z, take you to a showing and that sort of thing. But so much of it is, starts with the basic idea of just understanding who you are and what your goals are and
Yep.
being able to help navigate through that piece because there's so many ways to do it.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think that's part of the puzzle that I really enjoy with it. And what's cool is, you and I can have different backgrounds. We can meet in a group like this, and you can be a fan. Which thank you for coming to lots of shows. And we still got to get you out to a low-cash one, but thank you for
This year.
supporting music. Yes, that's right.
This year.
Um, shameless plug, we will be doing 5 dates with Kane Brown at the end of the summer in a stadium near you, so we want to make sure that you guys get that out there. But
Absolutely.
the thing about that is, obviously musicians couldn't do shows, athletes couldn't do you know whatever their game is that they're involved with. They couldn't fill a football stadium, fill a soccer stadium, build new soccer stadiums in a country that wasn't really inviting to soccer for a long time. A lot of
Yep.
these things it's all fan driven, it's all support driven. And Nashville's been such an interesting city to see that growth in sports because when I first moved here, we had the Titans. That's it, you know. And then to see a landlocked state get into hockey the way that the Predators fans are here, I mean, they're rabid fans.
Yeah.
And Go Preds. And then and then I don't have a fish to throw out at our screen right now and throw that on the ice, but that was a good time. We're still working on baseball. We love our Sounds, our minor league team here. And then, Nashville Soccer Club came in just a couple years ago, and people just came out of the woodworks to, flock in and support that sort of thing. So
And
there
that's
are
and that's what and that's what we did down in Nashville. Remember, we did that
yeah.
tour. That was really for me. So honestly, like before I even got into with KWSE and Next Move and all that, I've watched soccer. I've seen it, but I never really. But now that we have the partnerships that we have, we just announced that we have partnered with the United Coaches Association and what's that, 40,000 members all over the country. And now it's a really fun sport to be around, to watch. And, we got to go, when we went to DC, we got to watch a live match. And that was the first live match I've ever been to. And man, it was intense, even though it was 98 degrees out, but it was some cool to watch, and just really has opened my eyes. And yeah, you said I came from a different background. I was actually in retail for 20 years. So, what I've done is use that. I woke up one day and was like, I can't be in retail anymore. I got to go do something different. And got into real estate. Haven't looked back since. But I never imagined when I left. Actually, it was just about 5 years ago, this past month, that I got into real estate. I never imagined 5 years ago that we would be doing what we're doing, because of this group. It's not just because of selling homes and stuff. Like, yeah, we are selling homes, and that's how we make our money. But there's other things that are going into it now that I never imagined. Before I joined this group, never worked with a professional athlete. I've worked with, a couple, currently working with one right now. And this group has opened that opportunity, and just, using that customer service to go, and the training that we get, that's what's huge, as we're trained to, help serve those that are, in that industry and that in sports. And that's really helped me grow my business here locally. My everyday residential business. So, but a little funny story though, I do have some music background as well. I don't know how much of this I want to put out there, but I was all state jazz band my senior year in Maryland,
All right.
and
What'd you
and
play?
drums. Um,
Drummer. Okay.
yeah, so I actually was in a few bands, around 21 and stuff, and never went anywhere except the local,
I'm gonna need you to sign my drum head then. So
Absolutely.
this, as some of my favorite drummers, you're gonna go on the drum head there.
Yeah, so I, obviously I never, um, we didn't go too far than just playing the local bars and whatnot, but we did play a music festival. We had, I think it was like 2,000 people. So that's my claim to fame.
Right.
Played in front of 2,000. But I know what you mean when you're on that stage. I mean, it was such a rush. Like, it was so much fun. I wish I was a little better, and maybe I could have been torn with low cash with you, but I don't think I'm at that level anymore. But so yeah, so
You
doing it,
never know.
yeah, you never know. But like growing, like it's so cool. With us and what we got going on is it's so many different backgrounds, and but we all collaborate together to really, you know, grow. All of us grow our businesses. Not
I
just
think
here
that's
locally.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the great things. We probably have a mixture of folks, watching this podcast that are either clients or
Yep.
somebody maybe looking to, hire a real estate agent in the Nashville or Philadelphia area or
Yep.
Delco area. But there's also probably other agents on here too. And I think that it's important to put out there that, you and I get calls and different things from different people, and they're, maybe interviewing agents that they, trying to decide on who to go with and that sort of thing. And I think
Yep.
a lot of the times people are expecting us to start off with that checklist of, oh, well, we can do X, Y, and Z for you to list your home or to help you buy your home. And then inevitably, folks, oh, it's gonna, what's that gonna cost me, all that sort of stuff, and go into those parts of the conversation. But I always take a moment to pause and say, you know what, I'm going to tell you something that maybe other agents aren't going to tell you, and I actually really care about how you experience this, not
Yep.
just that we get you into the right home or sell your home in a certain way and check off all these lists. These are great. We're going to cover all of that. We've got nationwide coverage for advertising your home or for, finding you the home that you need in your area. And like you said, 43 teams. If it's not my city, we're going to cover you in some other city.
Yep.
But the other thing that I like to put out there is that this group of agents within Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment, and also specifically within our Next Move teams, is a group of people that actually care about the process and
Yep.
the people through the process. And if I've got an area that I know that I can lean on somebody else and go, hey, when you had this sale or this whatever, what worked well for you, and that collaboration that goes behind the scenes is something that I like that. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom in.
Yeah,
And that
I was like, "What's this button do?
Yeah,
Let
I
me
don't know.
push
It
it."
was fine. Jim's figuring out buttons. It's all right. That collaboration behind the scenes, people, you can't really vet or put a monetary value on that piece, but we're constantly having conversations in how to better each other's client experience.
Yep.
Part of what I do as a Southeast ambassador for the sports entertainment division is I get questions from other agents who are new to the space of working with athletes and entertainers, and they may ask, how do I even get to an artist? How do I even get to,
Yep.
have the opportunity to work for one? And then I'll walk them through what the process is. But inevitably, it always comes down to providing an experience for whoever you come in contact with, and being able to communicate that. So let's say, short example, artist here, then you've got management here, then you've got a maybe it's a day-to-day manager that is in the business, and then, or maybe it's their business manager, or maybe it's the PR person at the label. Wherever those steps have to come in, you first have to start out with a step of that person that's maybe on the maybe starting tier of getting to that artist, and build a
Mhm.
relationship with them. They start to trust that relationship, and then that relationship builds up. Rarely, unless it's a direct referral of some kind, are you just going to go boom, walk in that label, and they're going to go, sure, you can come talk to our artist over here and help sell
Yeah.
them a home. No, we have to
Yep.
build a background and a relationship. So I help agents, navigate that, and you have to be willing to be it in the long haul. What that's done for our standard residential and commercial clients who aren't athletes, who aren't
Yep.
entertainers, is I don't recreate the wheel. I'm going to give them the same length of time, which is their timeline to grow on, and build a relationship with them and explain the process with them in whatever, tempo they're okay with. If they want to buy a house in 3 weeks, let's go. Boom. I can show you that way. If you're not sure what you're doing, but you're kind of getting interested and thinking about it over the next year or two, we're going to lay out the options of sooner than later. But then throughout that, I'm also just going to listen and understand, where you're coming from and what your primary goals are. And then along in the background, say it's I'm going to be talking to Jim and be going, hey, Jim, down here in Nashville, we've been dealing with this with, the interest rates, or, this client wants to sell a house and we've been doing open houses this way. What's been successful for you up there? And we're
Yep.
constantly collaborating on ways to improve client experience. And that's not something you can necessarily put on a checklist when you interview your agent. So, for agents out there, uh, collaborate. Hey, Megan Turnipseed, we love you too. And she is
Yes.
great to collaborate. I've collaborated with her on land stuff before, and just
Absolutely.
asking ideas and going, hey, I've got a land client. I've never, run into X, Y, and Z issue before. And she's like, just call me. And she's
Yep.
in Texas, covers all the land stuff there, and has, definitely dealt with a lot of different issues, there. So we're constantly collaborating, like I said, to improve that client
Mhm.
experience. And if you're interviewing an agent, if you're somebody that's out there and you're looking for, hey, who's my new agent? Do yourself a favor. Don't just go through that checklist. Say, what do you do to improve client experience when you are looking for an agent? And a lot of agents will go, they don't know.
Yeah.
I'll invite you to my, you know, give you a
Hi.
koozie. I don't know. There's lots of different ways. They're not going to be able to say, and for the most part, that we have a team of 43 people nationwide that we collaborate with weekly to improve our client experience based on other agents' experiences and trial and error. And even like yesterday, we're talking about what's the best way to, help list a property for someone,
Absolutely.
and just shooting it around and making that work. So
And
anyway,
and really from You brought up a great point, like how we're able, because of the training that we do and the level of service that we provide to that niche of clientele. I actually had a past client. So you and I have a very similar background. We both started on a large team, which, is great when you're starting out because, a lot of times you don't, as a solo agent, you're getting into this business, and nothing against solo agents, nothing against team agents. This is just my opinion. I'm sure you share the same. Is when you're getting into business, you have no idea what you're doing. You're just jumping in. You're like, oh, I passed my real estate exam. I know how many acres are or how many, yards are in an acre, blah, blah, blah. None of that we need anymore. Like we now get into it and you're like thrown to the wolves. But being on a team, being able to collaborate with other agents helps you excel. But I actually had a past client who I've sold a couple properties with now, and we closed before I was with KWSC, and then we've closed a property after KWSC, and they said that they noticed a higher, a better level of service since I've been with KWSC than before. And that's because we really know, like, we're trained now to be, we can collaborate, like you said, with Megan down in Austin. If you're buying anything in the Austin area, you got to give Megan a call. She is one of the nicest agents and that's one thing. Like, I never thought when I got into real estate that you would collaborate so much with other agents. Now, don't get me wrong. It's probably because, we've gotten into a room with very like-minded people with Next Move and KWSC and everything. But I've gotten so much out of building my referral networks. Every time I get on a call with another agent, I learn something that I can bring to my business. It's like, we have this book where other agents have given their playbook of how they run their business. Like, literally, it's like given to us in a handbook, and all you got to do is just go out there and execute it. And really, it's helped me grow big time over the last few years. And obviously we're in a weird market right now, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
But being around, agents who have been through, let's say, '08 and, '09 craziness, and we're able to learn from them of what not to do to go advance into try to get more, business out there. But it's been absolutely amazing, being able to network with so many crazy good agents out there that, and I've phoned an agent who sold. I saw them speak. They sold 1,000 units last year, and you're like, oh, this agent's so busy that they're not going to take time. But no, they do. Like, they take time to give back and be able to do that. So, and we'll
Well,
be
I
able
think
to.
that's one of the
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that one of the cool things about our network in particular, because there's tons of real estate networks out there. There really
Yep.
are.
Yep.
And whether it's in a Facebook group, whether it's in this, and that, you might, if you are a prospective person looking for an agent, might even have, what's up, David? That you might even have somebody that goes, well, my mom knows, Sally, who's an agent over in, down there and whatever, and that's great. And Sally might be an awesome agent. But what we know is that you probably met Sally through your mom, and she may or may not be a good fit for what you're wanting to do. But what I can do is tell you that every person in our Next Move teams and many of the other people that I've met through the sports entertainment division is I have personally not only made relationships with these folks across the country that I've invested time in, gotten to know them on a personal level, as well as know how they work as an agent. And so one of the things I do, a lot of questions, and I'll get back to why that's important in a second, but I get asked a lot, like, how do you tour and do real estate full time? Well,
I was going to ask that.
yeah. So when I tour, we show up, we do a sound check maybe for an hour and a half, somewhere around 11 to 12:30, right? In the morning. And then we have a show at night, and that's usually an hour and a half 2 hours, somewhere starting around 9 o'clock. So for the better part of the day, my business hours, thanks to things like this, video cameras and phones and FaceTime and calls and laptops and all of that. I'm very available throughout most of business hours that would happen there. I do lead a team here in Nashville, so I have other agents on my team that can assist with showings. If for some reason I'm not in town and that person's got to have that property today, we can get that taken care of as well. But I end up having a lot more time than a lot of other agents that I know, because my time's isolated, and I have an office every day, either on the bus or in a green room or in a hotel or those sorts of things. So can definitely make all those things happen. I've written contracts literally with much different clothes on than most agents have, on the back of a truck, bed or back of a bus 30 minutes before a show, and gotten it done. I've done them on airplanes. It works. It's a very complimentary schedule. And what I usually do, and again, enhancing client experience, what I really want to focus on is I schedule lunches, dinners, bring other agents to shows in every city I'm in. And what that does is, opposed to,
right? So, for
many,
me, a lot of
oh, I'm getting an echo here.
bring other
Are
agents
you
to
hitting buttons over there, Jim?
every city.
I think I did something. Who knows?
Jim's hitting buttons. But anyway, thanks for learning with us here, everybody. Appreciate it. Yes, everybody's learning here today. So anyway, when I'm in a city, I will find an agent, usually a Next Move agent or a KW Sports Entertainment agent in that area. And we're either going to go to lunch, or we're going to go to dinner. I'm going to bring them out to a show, whatever we can do, so that I get to know them on a personal level, see what their personality's like, interact if we haven't interacted before. And then we're going to talk what their game plan is. What's their playbook look like? How do they enhance client experience? And then they'll ask me questions. This is what I do for my clients here. This is what a Nashville experience looks like. And what's cool is we're sharing ideas. So I actually use my touring to enhance my real estate as well with my time off. What's great about that is now I know these agents one-on-one. I know them as an individual. I'm not just picking them from a Facebook group or tagging them and saying, hey, you need to use so-and-so. It's not made up. These are real network, real relationships, so that when I say, hey, you're going to Philadelphia, great. There's this guy, Jim Arcidiacono, that you need to hook up. Did I say it right just then?
Arcidiacono. It's close enough.
Arcidiacono. Yeah, I mean, it's
better than
tomato. At least I got whatever. You got this guy, Jim. Hey, I thought I had it right. Anyway, it just came out off the tongue like it was, I felt like I was in Italy for a second. Anyway, that I have 100% confidence in not only what he can do, but who he is doing what he does. And to me, that's so much important. That's so important. And you summarize that Ronnie Millsap painting behind you, that hard work beats talent every time. Your talents are in who you are, and your work is what you do with who you are. And when you can combine those two things together, that's when you get excellence. And I know that anybody that I send to Philadelphia is going to get the best of those, and get excellence when they go with Next Move Delaware Valley. I'm excited for what they're going to get there, because I trust it myself. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces, is creating a trust in a network of agents, not just a referral of someone who's on a list or you may have heard of or whatever. Like, these are people if I had to drop my kids off in Philadelphia for the weekend, I'd call Jim. He wouldn't want to, probably, but I would feel comfortable.
I'll take him for a good cheesesteak, and
I'll probably get him working at an open house. That's what he's going to do. He's going to get him working.
We'll put him to work. But it's funny, and that's what I tell my clients all the time. Say we have a client who's selling their house here and moving to Nashville, moving wherever it may be. I actually just had one who was selling their investment property in Florida. And, you know, those clients will, you know, usually how someone picks out somebody is they go onto the Z word or the R word or Google and just look up somebody. You don't know what you're getting. You really don't know. But now I know, like,
I actually love when they tell me they've been looking on Zillow, because
yeah,
there's probably, uh, 1 out of 6 chance that the house that they're in love with is already gone because it
yep,
hasn't updated correctly on
like
Zillow or
rolling
something like
dice.
that. And that just gives me the opportunity to go, see, you can stick with that if you want to, or we can do it the right way, So anyway, go ahead.
Um, but now I know, like for example, when she was selling her investment property down in Jacksonville, um, I knew Kate Swain down there was going to take great care of her, and they enjoyed their transaction so much that they became buddies afterwards.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't get that. Look at shout out to Ben out there in Ohio saying we're good
And
looking dudes.
now, I
But
may not leave my kids with Ben. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I mean,
I don't know that.
I've roomed with Ben before. It's
That's right. You were with him down
just
in
kidding.
Atlanta, right?
Yes, Ben, and I'm just kidding. Ben is fantastic.
Yeah. So if you
Uh,
guys are watching, you know, if you're watching right now, or if you're gonna, you know, watch later, look, he doesn't like our comment, but comment below because we see the comments.
yeah,
I
it's
can
all
bring them
popping
up.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's pretty fun.
Ben is a fantastic guy, and Next Move Columbus would not be what it was without him. But like Justin said, just may not want to leave your kids there.
No, I don't know if I'm leaving my kids with anybody at Next Move Columbus.
Just
Justin will
kidding.
teach them about
Hey, I've
fine
hung out
whiskeys.
with I've hung out with some of those kids. Justin's got some pretty cool kids.
Yep,
His son basically is part owner already of the Columbus soccer team there. So,
absolutely.
just how that
Justin
goes.
is actually, I will honestly say Justin Bruce is the reason why I am Next Move Del Val. I remember when we were in DC, I was at the bar, saw Justin, went up to him, and I said, "What is Next Move, and how can I be a part of it?" And he said, "Dude, just show up, be you." And you know, and then when Jason and Jordan, shout out to, you know, our fearless leaders, when they came to me with the opportunity, it was like a no-brainer already by then. Like I think I said yes as soon as they said it, and I didn't even need time to think about it. But you know, these not only are you know, you and Justin and Ben and everybody, Dave on my team, is it's more than just real estate partners. Like I consider you guys family. Like you come up here and need something, I got you. Like we're, you know, that's how we are. And you know,
Well,
we've jumped on a couple Zooms together where you know, we picked each other's brains and stuff like that. And
yeah.
you know, it just
And we're
helps
not
us
getting
all.
paid for that. You know what I
No,
mean? And
no.
that's a lot of people are like, oh, you're just in whatever. But no, we really want to improve that client experience and figure out the in the box ways of doing real estate have been done for so long, and real estate has continued to change and shift, and probably will continue to change and shift. And
Oh,
I'll brag on Justin just for a minute. I really hate boosting his ego, but I'll do it for just a second. Like
his head's
one
gonna
of the
be
ways. One of the ways that we really got involved was to think of doing things in a different way. So when Locash came to Columbus, I mean, he picked us up with the party bus and took us golfing, all these sort of things. And really, what was cool for what he did in that is he validated me within my own circle of uh own circle of musicians, and that thanks Ben, in that sort of things, as to where I was as a legit real estate partner with Justin in that space. And
yep.
then we flipped it on another event up in Michigan and did where Justin and I co-hosted a meet and greet for low cash up there, and got some heavy hitters in the lending side and in the financial side of things that are assets to our clients, and providing an experience for those guys with the artists and vice versa. And those are things that work behind the scenes again that, a typical client may not know that that happened, but one of the ways that we can say, hey, here's a lender that I recommend for you, or here's a financial person that I recommend for you that can help you with all of your real estate as well as other X, Y, and Z things, because we've used our events that we collaborate on as a relationship builder with any tangible part of it. It's kind of the spider web effect, right? Like if we're right here and we spider out to all of these other people, you can do that, and you can go with people who were, you may have come across, but I think because we're so relationship based in the people that we invest our time and efforts into, that you can really trust, if we're saying, hey, we want to recommend someone to you, it's a we vetted who they are, and B, we subscribe to what they do with who they are to make it successful for other people, that we feel confident can be successful for you too.
So I got a question, totally not real estate related. We'll kind of go into some of the sports and entertainment questions. But growing up, obviously, for those who don't know, who are listening now or watching later, I got Paul Scott on here. Not only is he a kick-ass real estate agent down in Nashville, he is also a member of Low Cash, a touring band, gold record winning band. And when
they're
you were
technically an artist duo that I play for, but yes, you're right.
you're part of them. Yeah. You tour with them. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
But you are coming to Quakertown, PA, according to your schedule on your website. That is not far from me.
Travel plans for that, and it's right before we go to a big KW event out in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Yes.
A couple days before, right?
No, this one says July.
Oh, that was July. Well, maybe you don't know about this, but
maybe we don't.
Handy dandy thing. It's maybe a private event, but
maybe
I know somebody. Maybe
but
I can get you in on it.
I mean, right after that, you're playing Fenway Park with Kane Brown, according to the website. So, but
we are, yes.
Growing up, who was like your favorite artist growing up, like that you listened to nonstop? I gotta ask.
Justin. Justin just cracked me up. He doesn't even know it, but yeah, he actually does. That's a great comment. And that is no longer in existence. Anyway, what was your question one more time? Sorry, I got distracted.
Like growing up, like as a young musician, in high school or whatever, who did you listen to or who did you look up to as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, and not that I'm on purposely trying to segue this back to real estate, but I think it does share a parallel with why I enjoy working with the people that I do in sports and entertainment and Next Move as well, is that I have always been interested in not just musicians that I feel like I could be like, or but I've always been intrigued by artists that were so different from anything that I could do. So I am the oops child of my family. Basically, that means 10 years later, my parents, they thought they were done. Then I decided to give them a surprise. So my sister and brother are 10 and 12 years respectively older than I am. So, and then my sister married a guy who was 17 years older than her. So all that to say, I grew up with a very old soul of musical influences at an early age. We were all my friends, we went through our Nirvana stage and, and all that stuff of 90s grunge and all that. But, I actually, my brother-in-law was a musician. And so, you put that age gap in there. Basically, he was the same age as my parents, and I got between my parents who loved music, my brother and sister who, were jamming to music all day long, different genres. My brother was in the basement with Skinnerd and and all the rock bands you could think of, and then so everything from country to rock was happening downstairs, and my sister was upstairs with Michael Jackson, and all the hip hop and R&B stuff going on upstairs, and then my parents were kind of old country music, and then you had my brother-in-law who was currently in the scene and doing music himself, so it came from all angles. But one of the examples I always think of is Michael McDonald. Again, not from era that I grew up with or whatever, but when I was first introduced to his voice, I was like, that is a sound I can't make. How does he sound like that?
Yep.
And then when I just dove into like what his textures of singing were like and all of these things, I was just so intrigued by it. I did get to meet Michael McDonald here in Nashville because he lives here as well. So that was really cool getting to put that, together from a kid that went, how does someone's voice even sound like that, to, getting to talk with him and go, you don't know me, I'm your brother. He does kind of talk the same way that he sounds when he sings, in case you wanted to know. And then I'm always intrigued by people who, just seem to be the Michael Jordan, if you will, of what they do. So like Steve Perry's arguably one of the greatest singers ever, and he learned by listening to Sam Cooke records. So then I went back and studied Sam Cooke records, and I didn't even know who Sam Cooke was when I first heard of Steve Perry. I'm just going, God, this guy can sing anything. And then Michael Jackson was probably one of my biggest influences. I sound nothing like him. Can't even hee like him, But one of the things that I was influenced by Michael about wasn't really his singing as much as it was his phrasing and how he delivered a lyric, how great of a songwriter he was, and then how he produced everything was by taking the microphone and basically recording his own loops. So he would do, get that going, and then he would hum other parts along with it, and he would just keep stacking. He was his own band, his own studio band, basically. And so I bought a recording device after hearing that could do 8 tracks at the time, and then you learn how to bounce tracks to get more tracks available and all this sort of thing. And basically I started out imitating him. And if that is not true, Ross, I'm not buying it. I love everything you tell me. That's not true. Although it probably is.
Probably is knowing Ross.
The good thing about Ross is like you can have this killer story going, and then he will instantly just have one that's better. He because he's been in music for so long and been with everybody. Love that guy.
He's so Ross was. I remember I met.
I know it's true.
I met Ross at family reunion, and he was telling me some stories that probably we won't put on here because of we're recording and everything, and we don't want to throw Ross under the bus. But he had some. I could sit there and listen to him, and him and I have the connection with the Dead and everything. And he was telling me some great Dead stories and stuff like that. And it's just so.
He's got stories for days.
Oh my God. And that's what I love. And that's what's really, so for me growing up, for me with music, I was kind of, the smorgasbord, I guess you could say, where, I grew up in an area that country music was very big. I didn't really get into it so much, but I listened to a lot of classic rock, from my dad and mom, and then, obviously the Dead, but I also was big into hip hop. Snoop Dogg, Dre, you know, Doggy Style, that whole album, all that. Like, to me back then, like hip hop was great back then compared to these days. Like, you know, the 90s hip hop was the greatest. But that's what I kind of feel like is about our group in KW Sports and Entertainment is we got people from all different backgrounds, but we all can sit there and have, you know, a conversation and sit there and just talk about things and really it's just amazing what we can do.
Well, and I
It's
think that's where the value add comes in, right? And that, and
Yep.
to kind of why I said it kind of, I don't mean to go this way, but I can't help but not have it cross over is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, all of those artists I mentioned, artists you mentioned, I should mention, you know, my brother-in-law introduced me to Santana before Santana was cool.
Yeah.
And is he the greatest guitar player? No, but he is a great melodic guitar player, and he brings melodies out, and he takes his
Yep.
violin experience and translates it over to guitar. There's tons of guys that smoke him technique wise and all of that. He's out of pitch sometimes, but that's also part of the character. Bruce Springsteen didn't have perfect pitch, but if he would have been auto-tuned, it wouldn't have been Bruce Springsteen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would take all of these different characters and influences that would come into you know what I do and music, and then I found that basically in early 2000s that Nashville and country music was the melting pot for all genres to
Yep.
come at home, and that's what made me fall in love with country music. So is all of the different elements that come into it, and you can have an artist like Hardy that's out right now that's just killing it with almost a rock metal vibe mixed with country, whether you like that or not. Whether or not you like Taylor Swift and want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, she has that girl next door quality, and she's been able to grasp such a large audience from pop and country that, and you know, a lot of people hate successful people. They just do, you know,
Yeah.
and there may be other reasons why you do or don't like Taylor, but you can't deny the fact that she's influenced millions of people, whether you think that's positively or negative. She has used music as that platform. Hey, there we go. We're getting Tay fans. In fact, I had a poster up here anyway. Never mind. But what I have found that's so great with the sports entertainment division of Keller Williams Agents and our Next Move Agents is we always speak collaboration, not competition.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes us better agents for our people, and enhancing that client experience is basically going, hey, Ross sings like Steve Perry because Stephanie dated him and he knows Steve Perry pretty well. You know, so if Ross can sing like Steve Perry in his real estate metaphor, obviously, you know, if he's great at hitting the high notes of X, Y, and Z, you know, in real estate for his clients there, and then I can go to a Justin or a Jim or a Ben or a Megan or any of these other folks that have popped in that we, you know, really appreciate where they come from in their background. You know, there's some things I can't really go into much detail, but there's some things that Ross and I are working on to create opportunities for all of the bus drivers in the entire music industry.
Yeah.
That is just going to be spectacular because they are usually the behind the scenes, fall into the forgotten categories sometimes. And we're going to give them a premier experience that usually only an artist would get. You know, and that's a way for us to pay back to some of the culture that we're invested in. That would have never, things like that would have never happened without Ross and I coming from a place of collaboration instead of competition, and using our networks from the same industry, same community, and using them to help and be better and proactive. Because you can do all the fundraisers, you can host all the events that you want, but until you actually do something and set up an active thing that actually helps the people that you're trying to help, you know, what are you really doing? So that's just one example that, you know, somebody like Ross and I were able to, you know, take that, our common interests, and find a way to help a group out. And Next Move and KWSE are doing that on the daily to both make our agents better agents for everybody, and to make our client experience the best experience that you can have in real estate, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like you said, we're doing like different things, you know, like we're going to be a game changer group, like, not just from us locally, but nationally. It's going to happen. But I know we're running out of time here. You and I could sit here and chat.
Why are we running out of time though? Because we've got another Zoom to get on that's about helping our clients through sports and entertainment with the best experience to get investment in short-term rentals. So just another thing, like this isn't happenstance, y'all. We are getting together to make everything better for our clients nationwide in a way that hasn't been done before.
And how the old saying is realtors are always late. So even though it starts at 2:00, we have till about 5 after. So we're usually good. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to get rolling. But real quick, one last thing we'll end up on, Paul, thank you so much for jumping on today, for everyone out there listening or
Thanks for having me,
man. Paul and I are part of a nationwide group called Next Move. He runs Nashville. I run up here in the Delaware Valley outside of Philadelphia, Delaware, little part of Maryland. We have 43 teams all over the country, but really, we had to talk about sports. We are Paul and I are from two division rivals. Paul's down there. He's in Nashville, but he's a big Washington fan. Now the Commanders, formerly the Redskins. So he had I'm a little disappointed that I didn't wear any Philly gear. I don't know what else.
I knew who I was talking to. There was no way I wasn't going to have on a Commander shirt.
Yeah. So really, it's been fun to just pick each other. Obviously he knows that his team stinks and he's all right with it. But I will say I was talking to him, we were texting each other last night. I think Washington's in for some changes and hopefully for the better for you guys. Maybe you can put those New York Giants down in the bottom now.
That's right. Justin Bruce, I will do that. Go Birds from David New. I know. I'm waiting for all the Fly Eagle Fly people to get on here and go with that.
Wait for this one. Ready?
What's that?
Go Bears.
There it is. There it is. Go Bears. Hey, speaking of Bears, I grew up with a guy. His name's Chris. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, so I'm just going to leave it as his name's Chris. Yep. But I grew up with him, and he is now going from another team to become the wide receiver coach for the Chicago Bears here very soon. So we did also give them Montez Sweat. So you're welcome, Bears fans out there. Washington yet again making other teams stronger. It's what we do.
What's this?
Can have a coach who blew. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's just the way it is. But hey, we've got Kingsbury coming in. We've got Quinn coming in. We stole the D-backs coach from Dallas as well.
Yep. Hey, I look at it this way: if you're getting rid of the good coaches in Dallas, that helps me as well. So
it helps you out. It may help us out to know Dallas a little bit more. I see that happening. The only thing is, if you go back and historically look at any time Washington has brought someone who previously was in Dallas, it never works out very well. Yeah. That's the only thing. We had Deion Sanders. He was he blew it. He was terrible in DC.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then our good friend Andy, who played for the Falcons, he was with Quinn during that time. And you want to talk about blowing a lead? Wasn't Andy's fault, but that's all right. It was Brady, it was Brady's goodness that got it done. I won't place that on. So hey, we'll see what Quinn has to do. Kingsbury's never won in the NFL, but he has been around a lot of good quarterbacks. So we'll see. Maybe Caleb Williams is coming to Washington. Maybe the W is now going to stand for not only wins and Washington, but Williams. That's what I'm going for.
Well, I know he doesn't want to go to Chicago. Sorry, Ross. He's but
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll
We'll see what
see.
happens. But so anyway, all right, we're at our hour mark here.
Wrap it up.
It took me 7 months to book Paul on as my first guest, so very hard to get it going. But
Will you have me back again? Is this like the Tonight Show? Can I be a recurring guest every
absolutely,
so often?
it might be the Paul and Jim show. We keep this rolling.
Yeah, who knows, man?
We got so many great people in our group that I want to, not even just our group, but people that we've been around, here locally in my area. Hopefully some people we can bring value to, people that are listening in and stuff. And I want to, bring those people on camera and show those who show, what, I'm not even bringing up Ben's comment. It may get us kicked
I'm
off
glad
the
you
air.
can see it and I can't.
But
hey, I'll just say one thing real quick, not to interrupt you, but I'll say one thing real quick. As Jim, you guys got to keep watching this, whether it's me and Jim or Jim doing whatever it is. Anytime Jim's involved with knowing somebody, I'm just one person. He knows so many other people. It's going to be worth your time and your effort to tune into whatever he's doing because he's going to know somebody that has value for you. You're going to be able to get something out of it. You can message during this and go, hey, Jim, it's so funny. I have a friend that was looking to move to Oklahoma, and I was hoping it was going to be Nashville so that Paul could work with him because he's an awesome guy you had on the show today. But they're going to Oklahoma instead. You don't know anybody there, do you? And Jim's going to go, in fact, yes, I do. Yep. And that's kind of how both of us had that opportunity to really help anywhere. So if you're watching this and you are, somebody who is looking for an agent to help even somebody who is, 5 degrees of separation from you, but that they need somebody who is does things maybe a little different and really wants to understand where they're at in the process, Jim and I can help you out. But every time Jim's on this thing, y'all need to check out every single episode and then think of who in real estate and send them Jim's way.
Absolutely. I've been brainstorming like my brain of who I want to bring on to this. And of course I can't find it's in my notes, but I have like a long list, like of 50 people that I want to, one's my OP here, the owner of our office here who did a class on investing. And that's the reason why I bought my first investment property last year down at the beach.
Right.
And whatnot. So that I want to bring to as many people. She's actually now our regional director here in the greater PA region. So,
hey, maybe we even do a recap and bring her on because we're getting ready to get on an investment Zoom right now with all of our Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment agents nationwide that are going to be on this. And we're going to all talk about investments in every major city. And maybe we take our nuggets from what we learned there, get your OP on, and then we schedule another Zoom to talk about investments for people.
Absolutely.
See, we're making it up as we go along, guys.
Absolutely. There's no rhyme or reason. I feel like we're like the Kelsey brothers. There's no rhyme or reason to what we're doing,
man.
We just get on and chat. And we
are you dating? Are you dating Taylor? Is that who? Nah. Which one is who's who?
I think my daughter likes Taylor. I can say that. There we go. She already told me, she's like, Daddy, I want to go to see Taylor Swift this year. And I'm like, let me call Paul Scott. Maybe he got some inside scoops on some tickets.
Yeah, well, that one may be a little tough.
But anyway.
So I will throw this out there that Sarandy Parker and Next Move Austin crew invited me out to go watch the Eras tour in the movie theater. And It was before our show that was in Austin. And I may have become a Taylor Swift fan that night by seeing that show.
I heard it. I mean, I heard it's good. I heard it's good. So
I will. I don't know. You probably can't see things on my screen, but that is my daughter's project in school was she drew 2 dresses and it says Taylor is my favorite, spelled Taler. So not lying. She's a fan. Oh well. Can't awesome. You can teach them. You can teach them how to go to the water. You can't teach them to drink. It's okay.
Nope. Absolutely. So thanks, Paul. Everyone.
Yeah, man.
whether you're listening right now or rewatching 7 months from now, I hope you have an amazing day. Go out there, do something that makes you uncomfortable. The key is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's why I'm doing this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and people have told me I should do it. We actually did a happy hour, and it's kind of started. That's what kind of started teasing me. We did a happy hour Zoom for a Monday night football game, and that's what
We
kind
might
of
have
started.
to do one later this week for the Super Bowl week. I don't know.
We may have to. We may have to. So hope everyone has an amazing day. We're going to jump on this other call and learn about investments, and we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you soon. And make sure you share with everyone. Click the like button. Follow us on social media, and let's go.
All right. Thanks. See you, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.